Initial look.
Jan Wayne Swayze presents the FREE99 podcast. Be sure to follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Twitch, Instagram, and
TikTok for you youngsters.
Search FREE99 podcast. Shout out to all the sponsors.
All of you guys, we love you.
Shout out to all the listeners.
We love you more.
Jan Wayne Swayze in the building.
Where's JD at?
Oh, we miss you, Fresh. We miss you. Rommel in the building.
Y'all don't even know the name of the flip. It was touch me, tease me. When case with the shit. You don't know about the cases I get. Court case, briefcase, suitcase, cases of Chris.
How we good, homie? You guys got some service on episode 202.
202. Last one for the year.
Last one for the year. We're starting it off strong. 202, the FREE99 podcast. Rommel, please do justice to this this powerhouse we have in the building, to this creative factor that just needs a proper introduction. Let's do this.
The most properest.
Please.
Why? The why is something that someone searched for in their entire lives, trying to find a purpose in what they do. Keep in touch. Stay cool with the I's as the O's. These are examples of what people write in yearbooks, but not our guest. Aside from drawing the cover art, he personalized every yearbook given to him with a drawing during his younger years, realizing the impact art can have on others. Fast forward to the cheer cards done with damn near almost every Bay Area team and the Sacramento Kings, because they ain't fucking Bay.
But shout out to Sac, though. I love Sac.
To creating the classic Chuy Gomez logo, to killing it with Lumpia. And by that, I mean being an associate producer on Lumpia with a Vengeance and creating the iconic drawings for the Lumpia company owners, E40 and Alex Furtado.
Come on, man.
Let's not forget his work for the San Francisco Giants Filipino Heritage Day in 2022, but most importantly, his tenure for one of the most iconic companies associated with music, Tower Records.
Come on, man.
But why? And I quote, "My kids can look back and say, wow, my dad did that. Because growing up in the Bay Area, I didn't see a lot of Filipino representation in media. And now, as an artist, we have the ability to do so. I think it's safe to say, LeRoid, you, sir, have done it. The FREE99 podcast is happy to have LeRoid David with us in the building.
Hey, toast.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Episode 202. Thank you, LeRoid.
Was that a tear jerk?
202.
I can see a little
teary-eyed. Yo, I mean, oh man,
Rommel does his homework.
Just like Big Body Cisco said, like, yo, I'm gonna put that in my eulogy.
And I want residuals.
It's only says it once.
Yeah, it's gonna say once.
Eulogy.
Like, all right, it's fine, and it's for a special occasion.
Yo, thank you so much. And since we're on the air, for those of you that are listening and watching, I know a lot of people know me as LeRoid. And they also know me as LeRoid. And so to just clear the air,
please,
I'm okay with LeRoid or LeRoid as long as you spell my name correctly.
Yeah, spell it right, guys. It's
LeRoid. The D is not silent.
Nope.
Is the R capital?
The R can be capital.
But is it capital in your license?
Man, So my mom, but check this out, like my mom, I believe on my birth certificate, it's spelled LE''ROID.
So you heard that? Call him LeRoid.
LeRoid.
The king.
No, but as a kid, I couldn't pronounce LeRoid.
So what'd you say?
LeRoid.
Oh man! So you're saying you said this? So you dug your own grave, sir?
Yeah. And of course, the way my name is spelled and how I pronounce my name, Royd rhymes with many.
Yes.
Oid.
Or like,
And
that too.
Yeah. What about if they call you LeRoid? LeRoid.
I mean that's like a Starbucks name. I mean, I've had my name.
No, Starbucks. I think I'm almost positive that Starbucks does it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's marketing.
It is marketing.
Well, now that you have the app, they have no excuse because then your name shows up.
Printed out, yeah.
Right. But before, when they used to ask you, oh, what is your name?
Yeah.
So I got everything from LeRoid to Libro.
Ooh, Libro.
That's a good one.
I like Libro.
That's like your wrestling name.
Yeah.
Libro. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you look
LeBro.
Yeah.
Brother.
LeBro from the top rope.
Where did the love for art tune into you? Like you know, drawing is one thing, but then when you noticed like you loved to do it, was it, like there had to be something that spark. Was it cartoons? Was it
a specific cartoon?
Yeah.
As far as back I can remember, I want to say around 3 or 4 years old, I remember just watching a lot of TV.
Right.
And so I was heavily influenced by a lot of, cartoons at the time, specifically like Scooby-Doo. Well, and we didn't have cable at the time, so
Not a lot of people did.
Velma can get it.
Not a lot of people did.
yeah.
In the 80s,
So
right?
I mean, there was no cable at all. It was like
Bunny ears.
here in the Bay Area, it was like KBHK 44.
Hell yeah, Channel 44.
Yeah, and
Coffee, TV 20.
Yeah, so I watched
KOFY.
whatever sitcom was playing, but the things I remember going back would be Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo.
Which part?
Which part?
Yeah.
Oh, just like the old sitcoms, like
Like which part of Scooby? Like was it the fact that he could walk on his hind legs?
it was what was I obsessed with? Maybe my crush for Daphne. I don't know.
It wasn't Velma.
No. Velma was like later, but
Yeah. Yeah, like
Daphne was hot though.
but Daphne was like the obvious choice, right?
And her and Fredo was ducked off. And
Dude.
you know how they kind of piece it all together? And
One of these days I'm gonna pull off an ascot. And I don't want nobody to say nothing. Dog.
We're out of here, Scooby.
Yeah.
I love that whenever the Harlem Globetrotters were on Scooby Doo.
I love the cameos. That was the best
cameos!
part. But I grew up on Scooby Doo.
Yes.
And Looney Tunes.
Looney
I was a
Tunes.
huge Looney Tunes.
Not. Oh wait.
It's called Wabbit now.
I was gonna say tiny. I'm sorry. I was gonna say tiny. I thought Tiny Toons.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Looney Tunes is like
The OG.
Yeah, Chuck Jones.
Chuck Jones.
that
That's
era.
right.
Mel Blanc. I wanted to do voices when I was a kid too.
Wow.
Ooh.
And so when Mel Blanc passed away, I mean that was like one of my first early heartbreaks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You felt that when
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did.
That's
I really
tough.
did.
Like Looney Tunes was different too because it was like a real cartoon, but it had there's a lot of guns, a lot of violence.
Yosemite Sam.
But it was funny.
But it was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny. Porky Pig, no pants.
Yeah.
No pants party.
I didn't even,
Dick swinging.
that didn't even bother me.
No,
I was like,
it was
that's
fine.
what cave they're not wearing pants.
Yeah, it was fine.
No black characters.
Daffy.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that counts. Daffy Duck.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn. He was actually.
He was
He was kind of
like maybe he was like a Brother Ali where he like lacked pigment. Like
yeah.
yeah.
He was actually named after. He was actually mimicked after a preacher. I think a preacher or like a news radio host. Like I say,
Look
boy.
at you getting your cartoon back.
Well,
man. I fucking love it.
I was out there.
Is that we out here?
I was out there.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was out there. You know what I mean? I stumbled as Rommel stated. I stumbled across your art, knowing that you did the Chewy's logo with the ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started working at Cameo, we had a Chevy Suburban, and it was the biggest It was bigger than the Cameo logo, and it was all the way on the back. Do you remember seeing that one?
Absolutely. I have that picture somewhere.
What year was that you created that logo?
1997.
Damn, 97.
It's still running to this day.
I don't think I had pubic hair yet, dog. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, like
wild.
I remember seeing that. Jan got something.
Yo, did you see how quick he grabbed the mic?
Wait, did we mention that he did our logo too?
He did do the
What?
the current FREE99 logo that's being used was created by
This one?
LeRoid. Yeah,
Wait, was this supposed to be a reveal? I didn't know that.
Nah, it's
It's like
you didn't know?
No, it's like I found out like you're my father. Dog. Yo, what the fuck? Did you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not bad, LeRoid.
I've collaborated with Gus on a handful of projects. Yeah.
Did you wear all of those? I didn't get the memo, dude. What
This
the
this
fuck?
is my wardrobe though, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Wow.
Yeah. He
My mind's fucking blown right now.
the first
dude.
project I ever like pitched to him to do with me was a pin, and it was for it was like a Starbucks.
Was it the Starbucks one?
Yeah, it was a Starbucks flip on Game of Thrones, because in the last season of Game of Thrones, there was a Starbucks cup, a coffee cup that was left. And
Oh,
then,
right.
Yeah.
And then
They didn't give a fuck that season.
they did it,
No.
and then we flipped it to where it was instead of the mermaid tails, it was the two dragons.
Right. It was the two dragons, and then instead of, and then the lady was Khaleesi.
Yeah. Shout out to Khaleesi.
shout out to
Yo,
Dude,
man.
even
we-
though
Daenerys Targaryen.
man,
boy,
you know what?
dude.
She's not the one who fucked her brother, though, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
well, not brother,
relative.
nephew.
Nephew.
Something like that,
What did
yeah.
do, nephew?
Yep, he's here all the time.
nephew.
Nephew. So did you do that one too?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Warriors with the Philippine Sun.
the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
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 Dude, you've been. It's like you. This. Oh, man, this is crazy. You've
Yeah,
been around
you know, I
all my
don't-
life, and I didn't even know. Like that's crazy.
I don't post or advertise a lot of projects. On social media, there, certain things I post, and then certain things that it's like a pet project or a fun project.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And
Why though?
I think because with social media, I guess you want today's social media. You kind of want to keep a theme, or I think
see.
for an artist, like you want to.
The grid, right? The
Yeah,
grid
the
has
grid, right? It's I have a hard time explaining
To, it has to
but
be cohesive.
yeah, like the art has to kind of match. The projects need to kind of be similar to each other, so that way, because I also use social media as a way to not just to also like advertise my art and to look for maybe potential clients and and so my strength lies in illustration. I do a lot of logo work as well, which I absolutely enjoy.
I'm sorry, you don't say. Can we go through some of these? Like, look at that shit. Like, these are what they call cheer cards.
Yo,
I had
shout
no-
out to NBC Sports Bay Area.
Hell yeah! Shout out to y'all, man. I used to walk by your building on the way to work. It's not really like from the outside you can't really tell. I thought they'd be more like people playing catch and shit.
Oh, you're talking about the NBC building?
Yeah,
Well, I didn't-
the one like
playing catch.
yeah, like a foosball table visibly like outside of the
So I
window.
didn't work. I didn't work. I'm contracted. I was contracted
I see.
along with dozens of other artists.
Right, but you're the best.
Oh man, dude, to be alongside some of these artists was just like such a great honor. But the sports card stuff didn't happen until recently.
Yeah,
I've
the panini and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, but I've always been doing sports art. Like going back to how I first started art.
Yeah.
I collected a lot of sports cards, and I love watching sports in general. I wasn't athletic growing up. I was terrible. I would be the last kid picked. But I
Same.
love.
I'm gonna draw everyone. Fuck you guys.
Oh man, sometimes
Y'all gonna run your plays. I'm gonna draw you.
I'm gonna draw me dunking on you.
I'm gonna put this out, like to some of the bullies or teachers I didn't like. I drew you. Ooh, unfavorably.
Ooh, unsavory.
Unsavory.
They're in yearbooks right now.
Man, they're
Cooking.
somewhere out there. Someone's gonna dig them and be like,
Exactly. Somebody got a veiny member
Yeah.
in one of those pictures.
Yes.
I'm talking to you, Brutus.
Yes. That's funny.
What's like some of your early sports like memories?
I collected sports cards when I was a kid, and and of course, remember, I'm an '80s kid, so we didn't have cable, and just whatever was on the main channels is all you got to see. So when it came to basketball, it would
Lakers,
be
Bulls,
Lakers, Bulls,
Yeah.
Celtics,
Yeah.
all the heavy, the top market teams. And then football, Niners for sure,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And then at one point I also lived in Visitation Valley
Shout out to
in
the
San
Viz.
Francisco.
Shout out to the Viz.
Man, I lived there for a minute and lived like practically just a hop skipping away from Candlestick Park.
Where did you buy cards? So that's a whole nother culture that
Yeah.
like back in the 80s and 90s was having to go chase these unicorns. Like there was spots like Fielder's Choice on Mission across
Right.
from McDonald's.
Right. The baseball cards I collected would be from like the corner stores.
Corner stores, yeah. That was like
Yeah.
the hub. Magazines
Yeah.
and like cards were like garbage pail kids.
Kids.
You know what I mean? That's like some of the early art I remember collecting and getting in trouble at school because I had my whole folder was covered in Garbage Pail Kid stickers that my
That shit,
dad
it
bought
would get
me.
no attention these days now too, right? They're like, oh, that's so lame.
Well,
Yeah,
Garbage Pail
exactly.
Kids got a resurgence in recent years because
Shout out to
they've-
Whatnot.
Yeah, because
Shout out to Whatnot.
because Tops.
Oh, yeah.
Tops. Produces Garbage Pail Kids, and they've recently had a resurgence, and then they would merge. They would have other artists create their own GPK, renditions, and that's like you gotta look it up. Whatnot.
So you're really into like, dude, you should. We'll talk offline. You should do us as Garbage Pail Kids, dog.
Man, I was into like so much stuff. So with sports cards, you'd buy from like the corner stores or whatever, and I collected them, and that included baseball, basketball, football.
Was it
and,
Donruss? Was it Upper Deck? Was it
at the time it was. I mean, the earliest cards I remember would be like Flair.
Flair? Yes.
I did it for the bubble gum, but you did it for the
I did it for
content,
and
you
the
know what I'm
bubblegum too. Flair Tops, and then
Fleer.
I
I'm sorry, I said Flair. Fleer.
Fleer, yeah. And I used to copy. I used to draw.
Oh, shit.
I used to draw the athletes, and I used to draw. Back then, I didn't know what it was called, but now you can call it fan art.
Fan art, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did stuff like that. I drew like my favorite athletes. I got a drawing of like Michael Jordan, probably from when I was like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. I
still have these?
My mom kept a lot of stuff.
Shout out to moms, dude.
Shout out to mom
Shout out to
because
moms.
she helped me to take care of my shit, and just everything from my
Preserving
artwork.
history.
Everything from absolutely, and because everything was money. I grew up with a single mom.
Yeah.
Shout out to moms, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, hard work, dude. Shout out to moms.
Yeah, so
dog.
toys to artwork. She wanted to make sure everything was kept pristine. I mean, she would keep my homework or graded homework and all this stuff. I still have like report cards from like elementary school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's kind of tight. My mom didn't want to keep the referrals I got.
Attention slips.
Understandable,
Got 'em.
understandable. But I still stand by this day. I was in sixth period. I was there. I was there. I want to say. So you're a fan of the show, right?
Yes.
You are.
He said it earlier. He said it earlier.
Do you know what we do when we have guests? Then
Routine thing.
we play games with our guests.
Oh,
And
not the kissing games.
No.
that's where our Patreon.
Hey.
That's a
Great song, by the way.
So
Yeah.
we like to play
Okay.
games with our guests, and it's usually something that they're most knowledgeable about.
Okay.
But
It's a little different this time around.
that's a little different.
A little different this time around.
Today's game will be called Jansport.
Why is it called Jansport, Rommel?
Gus, I'm so happy you asked. The reason why is because you, my friend, are incredibly knowledgeable in sports.
Give or take, yeah. Not like
I don't know.
analytic, but
I mean, you have a 7. You have like a drawing of Michael Jordan from when you were 8. We can say that you have somewhat of a knowledge base, right?
pretty decent, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other artist in the room, who's Jan,
What's up, Jan?
hates sports. So
and that's okay.
yes, and that is okay.
That's okay.
So what we're gonna see, just like Jansport, is to see if you can backpack off of that. We're gonna ask Jan some sports questions, and then we're gonna ask you if you think he knows the answer or not.
Oh, okay. Man.
Holy.
Oh,
You ready?
I have been watching archery lately, though.
Oh, see, if anything
Badminton
if
has
there's
been
anything we
popping.
know, it's that Jan loves the artisan sports.
Pole vaulting.
You ready?
Shot pudding is my
So
shit.
again, I'm gonna ask Jan the question, and then he's not gonna answer. We're gonna look to you to see if you think he knows it, and then we'll ask to see what his answer is.
Okay.
And Jan, just please give an answer, even if you think it's wrong.
Yeah, whatever is fine.
Whatever's
You know.
fine. Because at the end
We
of the
love
day,
you
we
regardless.
love you.
I will ask one thing, Jan. How long have you known these two brothers?
Gus, I've known since, like, I think the
08?
late, yeah,
Okay.
Late 2000s?
late 2000s.
Yeah.
And then Rommel, maybe 2 years now.
No, the early 2023.
Long enough where I'm sure you've heard a lot of shit. So, sports wise too.
Oh yeah, no, he's felt it too. He's felt it. We've had to read him. We've had him read scores back to us, and he
Yeah.
read us back like the stat line. It's crazy.
Oh, okay.
That was
okay.
hard. That was
All
a
right,
hard
let's do
listen.
this.
All right, here, let's go. Chad, question number 1: what city does the Warriors G League team play for? LeRoid, do you think Jan knows the answer to this question?
No.
Again, Jan, here's the question. What city does the Warriors G League team play for?
Santa Cruz.
Oh! All right, that's a feeler. That's a feeler.
okay.
That's a feeler. That's a
All
feeler.
Tacos?
I'm gonna get Taco Bell after this.
What we believe Golden State Warrior and was born in Santa Clara came back to the team to win a championship in 2017. Hint, this player was rumored to date Rihanna in 2015 and beat up a former Warrior, Derek Fisher.
Holy shit.
Want me to go again?
Yeah, but hold on. Let's ask and see.
Oh man, I'm thinking about the answer right now too. I'm like, why am I blank?
I'm only thinking Drake.
What we believe Golden State Warrior and was born in Santa Clara came back to the team to win a championship in 2017.
Okay.
Hint,
Okay.
this player was rumored to date Rihanna in 2015 and beat up former Warrior Derek Fisher.
Do you think, LeRoid, that this handsome fellow, Jan, here, knows the answer?
He's sweating over there.
No.
No. Jan.
Jan.
Who is the player?
I can't think of his name, so I can't say. So.
Describe him. That's
Describe,
fine.
yeah. Don't say tall. He's tall, plays basketball.
Yeah, I don't know how I would describe him, but
Just whatever first name pops in your head.
Or
go.
what he's associated
Whatever
with.
first name. Popeye, go. Whatever first name pops in your head when you think about this.
does it start with a D?
No. All right.
Oh. But
Roy?
Rihanna got that D.
Yeah, she did all of it.
Is it?
I now I know.
You know the answer?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah. Because there's an association to Sacramento basketball.
Yes, definitely. Who is it?
Oh, Matt Barnes.
Matt
Yeah, Matt
Barnes!
I have no idea
Yes.
who that is.
Can I get a bell?
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Wait,
Taco
that's a good
Bell.
and a bad bill? What's a good bill?
That's a good bill.
It's all good.
Oh, it's all
it's
good.
all-
Oh, you
it's
know, it's
all
all
good.
good. I like that.
That was the 99-cent bean burrito.
Oh, Enchiladas are back.
All right, question number 3. Jan, here's the question. Who was the coach for the Warriors during the We Believe era? LeRoid, do you think he knows this question?
Yes. Absolutely.
Holy shit, look at
Jan.
Jan, let me repeat that question for
He
you.
looks like he
one
just
more time.
had a cup of milk right
I
now. He
know.
looks so uncomfortable.
Who who was the coach for the Warriors during the We Believe era?
Dang. I don't think I know this one.
Just
No.
name
No.
name. You gotta say, you know.
I don't even have a name.
And
No.
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 All right. Oh, that's a bell. And technically, the bells are the same.
Yeah,
so
it's
let's
there.
hear that bell.
Oh wait.
Wait, go.
Oh, sorry. I messed it up. So I guess
Do you know who it is? You
Yeah.
know who it is.
Mark Jackson.
Whoa.
Steve, no. Oh,
Don
sorry.
Hudson.
Not, Steve Kerr.
Oh, you're fucking with me now.
Oh, no. See, this is why the We Believe era. So that was
That was
I'm
Jason
so
Richardson,
embarrassed.
Jason Richardson.
Monte Ellis, Mark Jackson.
is the
white guy who retired to Hawaii.
Yeah, Don Nelson.
Smokes a lot of weed. Don Nelson.
Smoked a lot of weed.
How about, yeah.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay. What Oakland native?
Sorry.
What Oakland native and former G League Santa Cruz Warrior helped the Golden State Warriors win a title in 2022? Hint: he was the second player of Mexican descent to win an NBA championship.
Oh damn, bro, this is a fucking. LeRoid, do you think he will get this answer?
Yeah.
No.
You're right. I don't. I have no idea.
What's the answer? What's the answer, LeRoy?
Juan Toscano.
Juan
Hey,
Toscano.
JTA.
My favorite soup I get at Olive
Not
Garden.
GTA.
JTA.
All right, question number.
Super Toscano?
Was that Super Toscano?
As we speak, who's on Sacramento Kings?
Yes, he's back.
Is
as a
he? Is he
King,
back? Hey, good for you, Jay. Shine the beam or whatever the fuck they'll say. All right.
Light the beam.
Light the beam. All right. Number
Respect.
6. All right. Light the beam, whatever the fuck. All right. Can you name 3 quarterbacks who played for the 49ers? Do you think you can answer this? And this is historical. You can name anybody. Ooh, look at that, yo.
Jan, I think you got
Yeah.
this.
No,
he got
for
this.
sure.
He
You
got
got
this.
that B Rabbit look from like A Mile. Go ahead, Jan, and name the 3 quarterbacks.
All right. Back from when I used to watch football, Montana,
Yeah.
Young,
Yeah.
and then, oh man, I think I gotta reach back in my mind for this one.
Or forward.
Joe Montaigne.
I believe you.
Joe Montaigne.
Oh man, he had
Yeah, he did.
afro. He
Yeah,
knelt.
he did.
He knelt.
He knelt.
He knelt down.
He knelt.
Yeah.
Man, I'm blanking on his name. Oh man, everyone's gonna get mad at me. He's a
Rhymes with map or mip.
cap.
Yes!
That counts.
You got it.
That
That counts.
counts.
Hit the bell.
Yeah,
Or
you get a
what did
bell.
they say? Shine the bell. What did they say in Sacramento?
Shout
Whatever.
out to Miguel.
Shout out to Miguel.
Shout out to
Help us
Miguel.
out, Bobby.
Yeah. Okay.
The beam.
Like the beam.
What former SF Niner quarterback dated adult film star Kiara Mia?
I know this. This is the only question I know right off the bat.
I know this too.
Jan, you fucking know this. If there's one thing you don't like, or you
My wife knows this.
do you think do you think Jan knows this? Who also has a lot of knowledge on porn? Do you think he knows this?
Porn knowledge is vast.
Shout out Asa Akira.
That's a classic.
That's a class.
Man, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go back to no.
Show him.
Guapolo.
Oh!
Guapolo.
Guapolo.
I'll
It's
take
Garoppolo.
that. It's Garoppolo. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah.
We,
Yeah, I'll take
we
it.
asked you to name. You must have kept that in your back pocket.
That was one quarterback you could have mentioned in the first question that he asked you. And
You're like,
That's true too.
any porn
He
related
could have said
questions?
Garoppolo, dog. But you waited for the porn question.
He said Jimmy G
Oh,
for
that's
the
right.
porn question.
That's
Yeah,
right,
he definitely
that's
didn't
right.
keep it in his front pocket. It's in the back pocket. It's in his front pocket in the private section. All
That
right,
was
here
so
we go.
good.
Question. That was fucking
That's what all the aunties call him, right? So
Guapolo. Yeah.
Guap.
Not anymore. Anyways, question number 7.
Okay.
We're gonna steer away. We're gonna steer away a little bit from Bay Area sports, and I hear that you like wrestling. Is that true, LeRoid?
I love wrestling.
Wrestling.
Jan, do you have a love for wrestling?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
You that looks super suspect that you answered that. But let's see how much love you have for wrestling. Who were the 2?
I'm a hoaxster.
Oh, all right. Who were the 2 founding members of the NWO? Do you think Jan knows those 2 members?
I'm trying to think. Myself too.
There's, yeah.
Yeah.
Jan. You think Jan knows the answer?
What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Jan, who were the 2 founding members of the NWO?
Oh man, are they standing right behind you too, Gus? Is that right?
They may be.
One maybe.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Chico. Hey, yo. Chico.
I don't think I can get this one. I'm blanking on their names.
That's
I think
okay.
Gus told me like last week.
Probably did.
I
The
know,
fact that we
I'm-
talk about NWO to this day.
I know. I'm so excited that I'm like trying to like second guess myself too. Scott Hall and Could it be
Rhymes with-
Kevin Nash?
Yes! LeRoid with the win!
Yes.
Man, because God, I'm like X-Pac, like was he founding or
Later, yes. Do you remember when they fucking showed up? Oh, it was so crazy.
He was the only one that was NWO and DX.
God, Gus, you're really fucking.
He's the only
I
one.
want to say, Gus, you're really fucking blowing my mind
because
right now,
he was part of the clique.
He was part of the
So
clique.
that was like clique related shit.
Oh, now we're getting into some fucking. All right, now we're getting my
Okay.
pocket dog.
Okay.
Yeah, Gus be teaching me, but
Gus be teaching, dude. You're like KRS Gus.
Yeah. I got one. Okay. Fala Ba, Kaden Carter, Joaquin Wild, Shotzi Blackheart, TJ Perkins, David Bautista. Which one's Filipino? And they're all wrestlers.
That's a fucking.
Yes or no? You think you can answer this?
Uh,
I think I can.
Yeah,
you know where I'm at with this. Yeah.
Jen, I think you got this.
Jen looks worried.
Is there more than one?
Possibly. Want me to read the names again to you?
No. I think I got it. I'm a big Drax fan, so I'm gonna say David Bautista.
Bautista.
Uh-huh.
But that's the only one I know.
Okay.
You dirty bastard.
Yeah. God, Fala Ba?
I don't even know who that is, but that sounds Filipino.
It's like he just fell.
Yeah.
I want to say like
Fala Ba?
I want to say like everyone you said except for Fala Ba because
It's too obvious.
it's him I'm not too familiar with, but I've heard the name. I mean, you could throw in Jeff Cobb too. Don't forget Jeff Cobb also.
Jeff Cobb, dude. I seen him at APW out here.
Oh yeah, APW legend right there. I watched a lot of New Japan too.
So just to answer, they're all Filipino.
They're all
Filipino.
Fala Ba, wow,
They're all Filipino.
Man, I did not.
And then
know.
also, that's just a little pointer for our guest. Us Filipinos like to tassel. We like to wrestle.
Wrestling.
like
we
to
love
wrestle.
the wrestling.
We like to wrestle.
But Dave Bautista was the only one to hold heavyweight gold.
Right.
As far as
True.
a Filipino to hold heavyweight gold.
Jeff Cobb held. Well, he was on the list, but Jeff Cobb held some gold in like New Japan. Right?
Yeah, he's held some belts, and then TJP.
TJ Perkins was an ill luchador.
He was, dude.
Yeah,
he was an ill. And they fucking wrote him off.
He used to be in his early years. He was Pinoy Boy. That was one of his early names. Yeah, I mean,
That's the action figure
his
I'm
history
looking
is
for.
so amazing because
TJ Perkins.
Shout out to TJP because I've been following this dude, and thanks for my friends for introducing me to about his story. But the dude was training like
At underage. He was like 16 or 14. Like
Yeah.
leaving
Really?
school.
wrestling in Japan, and,
Yeah.
and Japanese wrestling is hard, super harsh.
Yeah, super harsh.
Very technique,
Discipline. Yeah.
super disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they what do they call it when it's a hard hit in Japan?
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
they have like people in New Japan who do that. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot the name, but fuck, dude,
Yeah.
it's so tough, man.
Yeah, TJ Perkins is a wrestler that doesn't get enough notoriety for all the work he put in at an early age.
Yeah.
He won NXT, right?
He did,
Yeah.
yeah, and he was like part of that weight class when they were trying to push him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole cruiserweight
Yeah.
class and stuff, and and he was repping the flag, with
tough.
his
Dude's entrance to see that shit on the Megatron, dog.
yeah.
And it was like a video game entrance was kind of cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
and then
dude
just
was- dude
wrote
was
him
dope.
off, dude.
Dude was dope. I
Fuck you,
appreciate it.
WWE. I'm sorry, I love you guys.
TJP is doing his thing in New Japan.
Yeah.
Is he New Japan?
Yeah, he's in New Japan. So in
That's tight.
fact, and I was talking to Gus about wrestling events. So in January 2024,
San
actually
Jose, huh?
in about 3 weeks, I'm taking the fam to go watch Battle in the Valley.
Woo.
Yeah, which has become a yearly tradition.
That's tight, dude.
yeah, I got my wife into wrestling.
That's
too.
dope.
Yeah, I got. And
Shout out to wives that support the.
Oh
the-
man,
the
Stephanie, I
hobbies.
love you. But
Oh, that's hella sweet.
Love. Thank you.
Yo, for real, like when we went to Tokyo about 5 years ago, and there's like it was my first time in Japan. It was like her third time, but I knew because I follow so many cultures and I follow pop culture in general. The one thing I wanted to do was either watch baseball or watch live wrestling in Japan. And besides, buying, all the
Eating
stuff,
egg salad sandwiches from the corner store.
eating ramen and
Dude.
singing karaoke late
Shout
night.
out to
but-
Lawson. Shout out to 7-Eleven out there.
For real, but
See,
man,
for
like,
real.
but we got tickets to watch APJW. Wait,
There's New Japan and there's all Japan Pro.
All Japan Pro Wrestling. There you go, AJPW and All Pro. Like, man, that like we took like it was like an hour train ride, outside of like proper Tokyo, and man, we got to this hall, and thankfully, like there were a couple of people that spoke English. I met this one dude that actually went to school in Modesto.
Oh, shit.
Wow, what the
yeah,
fuck?
and he was working for the company. He was
Yeah.
like, he was working for them, and so he got to introduce me to like some of the wrestlers that were there, and none of them I don't know about. I mean, I had to like Google to find out, but
Yeah.
but some of those wrestlers I watched 5 years ago, now I'm seeing them big time.
Transitioning into a bigger role. That's
which is
dope,
so
man.
dope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and but when to watch live wrestling up close, I mean, people have their qualms about like wrestling. Yeah, you can keep saying it's fake, whatever, but man, there's athleticism.
The physicality of it is not. You cannot.
Yeah.
You
fake
cannot
that.
fake physicality. You
Those
cannot,
hits hurt.
Yeah.
If anything, the storylines are written for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like the physicality. You don't see people in soap operas fucking going through a table, dog.
No, but it was so exciting.
like to see that.
It's Japanese wrestling is very technical. It's less story driven.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
it's
just
quiet too. The crowd is quiet, right?
absolutely. So you kind of follow the crowd, like
Yeah.
when it's the right time to clap. It's
shit.
like. Well, this is what the time we went. It was, I think, like. I think they had like certain rules about like cheering, but if you're like a foreigner, like that's okay. But we noticed that a lot of, the locals that were watching, they were very quiet. Certain moves are executed, you do the clap and stuff, but no, not overly cheers and stuff like that. And then I assume maybe there was like a culture or a rule to it. But from what I hear these days, now you can openly cheer.
You can
Yeah.
woo. You can Ric Flair yourself. Woo!
Right, so you watch New Japan, right? Do you think Okada is overrated?
I don't watch enough Okada, but man, what a handsome dude, man.
He's a handsome dude. Hey, for real though, I would wrestle with him.
Wrestle.
That's weird. That's a weird statement, and I
Okay,
regret
so-
saying that.
There we go. Hey,
Hey, there you go.
So speaking of New Japan, last year when we watched Battle in the Valley, so we stayed at the hotel the wrestlers were staying at.
Oh, how dope is that?
So Battle in the Valley takes place at the San Jose Civic Auditorium, right? Downtown San Jose. And then there is a Hyatt Grand right next to it. The previous year, I learned that's where pretty much all the wrestlers were staying.
And you're like,
and then
gotcha.
this should be like an industry secret, but I'm gonna put it out there because, I mean. I'm talking about an experience, but so we decided to get a room,
Smart.
at the hotel because
Yeah.
it's literally right behind the Civic Auditorium.
Yeah.
And man, the moment we pulled up, we saw just all the wrestlers coming out, getting ready for the show. We pulled up, on the afternoon of the show. We go in, we check in, and I'm seeing, all these like New Japan, wrestlers like Jay White, who's
Jay
now
White,
on
yeah.
AEW.
AEW, yep.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AEW is like doing this crazy crossover, which I love because WWE kind of like segregates himself from all of that.
Yeah, and last year was a big show because Sasha Banks had signed on
Mercedes.
as Mercedes Money or Monet or something, but it's
love
Mercedes
her.
Money.
Monet.
I love her as a
LeRoid,
wrestler.
LeRoid.
I love her energy. I love her character.
Hell
I love,
yeah.
I love how
Yeah.
she was able to reinvent herself. I kind of love she got bipped in Oakland. I love everything about
It ain't
her.
safe. Nobody's safe. The thing I loved mostly about her, right, is in WWE, she had like so much pop, right? Everybody loved her, and she proved basically to the WWE company that she can take that elsewhere.
Yeah.
And she absolutely
And she absolutely
Yeah.
did, but she got hurt.
did. She did get hurt.
Unfortunately, she got hurt too early.
That
She's a bit
sucks.
like, yeah.
Yeah, but at the hotel we stayed at, so we checked in. I'm walking through the lobby, and then the only kid with us is Eli, who's now 8 years old.
Shout out to Eli.
Eli,
My man.
So I got him into wrestling, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And he, one of his favorite wrestlers is Rey Mysterio Jr.
Ooh.
And,
Fun fact: he once killed a guy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh man! And so
Let's not talk about.
so
Damn.
that's another episode.
Yeah.
That's
The dark side of
Dark
wrestling.
Dark side.
FREE99
Dark side of
podcast.
Mysterio.
Dark 99.
After dark.
So Eli brought his Rey Mysterio mask. It was like one of those, generic luchador masks.
Yeah.
But it had the Rey Mysterio designs
Yeah,
on it.
right.
And then my wife Stephanie bejeweled it.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
looked dope.
Ooh, shout out to wives, yo.
The
Yeah,
dazzle.
so it was dope. So Eli had the mask the whole time. So he's walking through the lobby. Everyone was like, "Hey, Mysterio!" and I told Eli, I go, Rey Mysterio was in New Japan. He was there. He was there briefly.
yeah.
Very briefly.
Oh shit, was he?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, I think he had a match against Liger, maybe.
I believe so.
Was this transition from WCW to WWE at the time?
I think
I
in
think
between.
early WWE, and then he kind of
Yeah.
took a break or something like that, and he ended up going to Japan. I know I have to look deep into that history, but
A lot of wrestlers kind of like do a little stint in Japan, right? Because it's almost kind of like a.
It's like the G League.
But
the
no,
G League.
not the G
it's
League.
almost like a like you can kind of like sport it and say like I
almost
wrestled.
like a rite of passage.
Yeah, rite of
perhaps?
passage. Yes.
Thank you for correcting me.
What's his name? The guy who used to be in WWE. I think he's in AEW.
Cody.
Dean. What's his name?
Malenko?
No, not Malenko.
No.
But the guy who was part of like
Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he had like a little stint in like New Japan Pro Wrestling too.
So did Cody.
Yeah. No, Cody, dude.
Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley.
Yeah, John Moxley.
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
his name is,
See, Cody was a different story because he went to WWE, right, and he wasn't getting treated right.
Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust. They were like basically just trying to like make him like a fool kind of.
Yeah.
And he left and he did his own thing. When he left, he even went to APW here in Daly City, did some shows here because I think he.
I missed those shows,
Yeah.
man. I missed out, man.
Yeah, because he
me
did
too.
Cow Palace.
Yeah, no, not even Cow Palace, but then also Westlake, dude.
At the Westlake.
Yeah,
Oh,
dog, I see
yeah.
Jeff Cobb at fucking Westlake, bro. Like I bought
Gangrel
nachos.
was
Yeah,
there?
dude, it's fucking crazy. But then Cody ended up making AEW, right?
This is a wrestling podcast, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We just took over.
But
We just
Cody-
took over a
So
wrestling podcast.
203.
with LeRoid,
We're still with LeRoid here.
But then he ended up doing super well in New Japan Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
After that, with like those other, I forgot the name, the tag team made AEW, and then he went back to WWE because he wanted to get that belt for his pops.
They're still working on it, I think.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. We thought he was gonna get it, but the thing
At
that
WrestleMania when he came back when he was in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Because they had the statue of his father.
Yeah, keep WWE likes to fucking cuck, dog.
Yeah.
They had Bailey drop her title in San Jose at this event I was at, and I was like, yo, that's
In San Jose.
in her hometown.
That's crazy.
That's almost just kind of like, they want to see like if you're willing to do it, and then they'll pay you off generously afterwards.
It's the pop, right?
But yeah, but that's business. It's
business,
And
yeah.
if you watch like the dark side of wrestling, I mean,
Oh my God.
that's where you see the real truth. But that goes with entertainment in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there is a dark side for all that.
Because
But-
if you give them what they want, right, then it's like, all right, well, what next, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes you just gotta make it. It's for that shock value.
Yeah.
You give something fans to talk about.
Especially if like you said that Bailey was home. It's the pop the crowd's gonna give. The booze, right?
Good or bad, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be so like it'd still be like storybook to be like, oh yeah, I won at home, but to drop it in her hometown.
Yeah.
That everyone's now invested.
Yes.
Everyone's now invested.
I just want to make sure Jan is taking mental notes because for the next Jan Sport,
Come on, Jansport.
Dude, Jansport 2.0?
man,
Jansport
Sports
2.0? Come on, Sports Jan.
Sports Jan.
Sports Jan.
Sports Jan.
What was one of your working at Tower Records? What was your favorite one of your favorite meet and greets that you remember working putting together? Because back in the day when I worked at KML, Tower Records was one of the places where we would hold meet and greet, where like fans would be able to meet artists. I remember working one where it was Common's meet and greet. But this is when he was dating Erykah Badu.
Oh, it was all
so
nice.
Erykah Badu was also there.
It was all knock chomper.
Man,
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I got a fun story from that in-store event. So
Was there a drum circle? Sorry.
No drum circle, man. There wasn't enough space. Yeah, it was so packed. But you know,
Shout out to Tower Records,
Shout out
man.
to Tower, dude.
So in early
Or City
2000s,
Sports.
Gus, I mean, in early 2000s, man, like working for retail was it was kind of flex. It was
Yeah.
kind of a bit of flex.
Yeah.
If you worked at Foot Locker.
Yep.
If you worked at like,
Shout out to Gus.
yeah, like
Stonestown Foot Locker.
for real. For
He
real,
knows
like-
all the alleyways, all the dark corners.
We're not talking about that right
Like if you like
Why, were
that's-
they-
like early 2000s, if you worked at Nordstrom, you were like, ooh,
Yeah,
dude,
the
gear.
because you had the gear.
You had the gear.
You were
Dude.
dressed to the nines. You know, you were like. Look, you were like,
That was the
wow,
flex, dude.
that was working retail was a major. Working in a mall was a flex.
Mall working at the mall in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s was fun.
Yeah,
It was
man.
fun, and if you knew how to work the system to your advantage, there's a lot. You can have a good time for cheap.
How much of a good time, Gus?
I'm just saying.
All right.
You're saying so.
Yeah, and
at
I
this
started-
meet and greet.
Yeah, so I started at Tower Records. Yeah, I've been with Tower for about 10 years. From about 96, you know, a little after high school, all the way till the last day that Tower Records closed the doors in 2000.
You were there the last day.
In the very last day of 2006. And so I started working at Tower Records Stonestown Galleria, which is a mall off of 19th Avenue in San Francisco, right by San Francisco State. And I was going to City College and then later SF State. So I was still working at Tower. But eventually I moved my way from like cashier to like supervisor. And then I got deep into a lot of the events because I saw that like our store was hosting all sorts of like cool events.
Yeah.
Like the very first in-store event I experienced was SWV.
Oh, shit.
Which album?
The first one.
Is it? Yeah, it had to be that first one. Yeah.
that's really- that's really the only album they have.
Yeah,
It's like
I don't know,
97?
man. 98, 97,
Yeah.
98.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
not the first one. Because there's Rain. That's the Rain.
Oh, yeah, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's like the set.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the album, man. But
Did you see the girl with all her long ass nails?
yeah, Coco, right?
Yeah,
Coco.
Yeah,
Shout out to you, Coco.
It was wild. I was new to Tower Records, and I never experienced such an event. Like it was like dope that I'm seeing someone I'm listening to radio
Yeah.
live in person, and I was working the floor at the time, and you know putting away CDs, but I'm like watching huge line of people, and of course we had like a radio station,
Yeah.
you know, doing promotion, and you know, like a lot of media people today started out at Tower Records, and so at the time we had this one dude, one of my coworkers, Aaron Fonseca. Shout out to Aaron Fonseca, who now he used to DJ.
The name's really familiar.
Sounds
Yeah.
very familiar. He did a lot of DJ on the Bay Area airwaves, and now he runs a show. He does hosting for like the San Jose Barracuda and a little bit for the
Hey.
Sharks. But
Good for you, Aaron.
yeah, Aaron Fonseca. You know, he was connected with radio, so we would have all these radio folks that would come in. But that was the first time I experienced an in-store event, and I loved it. I loved like the whole
The energy.
the organizing, you know, at the time Tower had store artists, so they would create these backdrops made out of foam core. You know, foam core you cut, you know, and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and you
Obviously.
have these, and so you had these elaborate backdrops. And then so event after event, I started to just kind of insert myself in there, you know, in terms of organizing and helping out.
Party committee.
And I was part of like the Stonestown Park Committee, but eventually I got promoted to becoming the Bay Area event coordinator, and this was
Damn.
like early 2000. So as the Bay Area event coordinator, I was, you know, booking events like early 2000 and on, right,
Yeah.
all the way to like
2006.
the last year. And man, handful of stuff, man. Tons of meet and greets. You know, Black Eyed Peas, Usher. You know, Nate Dogg, R.I.P. man.
Oh,
good
damn.
You know,
Smoke weed every day.
man. You know, we would host like, you know, just impromptu meet and greets, like Eminem, like
Eminem was an impromptu.
Eminem stopped by, dude, for just
White people, dog.
it was super unannounced at the time. Hi, my name is, you know,
Yeah.
was
Oh,
blasted
wow.
on radio.
Wow, okay.
And he was in town promoting his single, and so the label took him on like various like retail store tours, and then our location, Stonestown, was kind of like the urban, you know, location,
dude. It kind
right?
of
Even down to like how you would have like the singles and like the writing, like people would show off their like their hand styles. Like you would know who the graph artists were at your work because they would do like, oh, I'll do the singles or I'll do like the employee music selection,
Something like that. Yeah,
you guys would have that backdrop and you guys would give your some of your artists freedom and you could see who could write.
Yeah, I did some art for our, you know, for the Stonestown store too. Like we would have like this new release board, and I used to draw caricatures of like music artists that were releasing that month.
damn.
But we hosted so many artists, man. And
do you have pictures of any of these like characters?
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
This is by hand, kids. Nothing was done on the computer at this time.
Yeah,
this is all by hand, kids.
You know, I was I didn't have like, you know, like
A
a
Wacom
single.
tablet,
Yeah, I
or-
didn't have like a. You know, at the time when I was doing art, I used early 2000s. I used a lot of disposable cameras.
Because it was available.
It was available, and we sold it at Tower. So I would just buy them at
On
discount.
discount. Yeah.
I would buy them on discount, and I would just like take pictures of everything, and then, you know, thankfully, you know, I kept a record of a lot of the artwork that I did, and I like one of these days I'll post on social media, but
You sound like Jan. One of these days,
one of
the
these
social
days-
medias.
I think, I don't mean to divert from the story. This story is
yeah.
amazing, but just the fact that like the whole social media and artist kind of like it sucks, man. Because honestly, two of the most talented artists right now that I know are in this fucking room.
Come on, man.
And the whole like social media, like, oh, we got this and that, but it's like, yo, man, like, what happened to like just fucking?
That's kind of like how the videos ruin the radio star kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
because
like
you
the
are
real-
in your bag, dog.
One thing I want to mention about Tower though, because
Expensive candy.
if you were if like Tower to us was what everything cool about the internet was, because you could buy your concert tickets.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you had to go there to buy your concert tickets.
Line up.
Me and LeRoid were talking upstairs, and then they had like artist series of action figures that were only exclusive to certain spots. And you're talking about like early Cause, right? You're talking about early. Who's that guy?
Early Shepherd Ferry.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Tower was like one of the first retailers to carry like the designer vinyl toys.
Yep.
So this was like Kid Robot stuff, you know.
Prior to
Before
Gorillaz,
Kid
by the
Robot
way.
having his own
Right.
his own brick and mortar. Yeah.
So artists like Cause, Ron English, Shepard Fairey, they all had these designer vinyl toys that no one wanted to carry, but Tower was the first to do that. And, you know, the Bear Bricks.
Yes.
The thing that
I remember
sucks.
stealing a keychain.
The thing that's
You weren't working there. I don't think.
don't worry, Liz. It wasn't on your shit. It was on your off day. The thing that sucks is that like kids nowadays, right? If they want to like try to, I don't know, kind of like associate something with their music, right? They can't. Because it's like, I don't know, a Spotify new release. Like, get the fuck out of here. You weren't out here, bruh. Like, you weren't out here trying to figure shit out, right? Listening to like an entire album that maybe sounded like shit, and there was that one gem.
Yeah.
You know, digging through crates, going to Amoeba, you know, all of that stuff. Tower Records, dog. Warehouse, like all of that shit.
Tower had an ill like magazine selection, because I used to like. I loved graffiti, but I could never do it. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, that too."
No,
Yeah,
so
that too.
Jack
In the
grabbed his
back.
mic way too fast. Yeah, Jack
way in the
grabbed his-
back, in the back left corner.
Yeah, with the beaded
do the
curtains.
DVDs and stuff. But then, like Tower would be the place where you would go if you had nothing to do until midnight.
Yo, till midnight
I
though.
used to work those midnight hours, and that was the fun thing, because like it's, you know, like we said earlier, like working retail was a flex. Working at the mall was a flex, and you know, Tower Records, we were the only store open that late. Like
I didn't really. You guys were open till midnight.
Yeah, midnight. That's what made Tower, like the #1 music retailer,
Yeah.
you know, for so many years. And, you know, and because, you know, it was a flex, like working for Tower, like you felt like you have like a leverage, some type of leverage
Yeah.
over promoting like music. And you know, when I became an event coordinator, I noticed the one thing we weren't showcasing enough were the local artists.
Oh, yeah.
And not, you know, not just like, you know, coming from SF, not just like Selsky, San Quinn, you know, a lot of like the Bay Area rappers, but because being Filipino,
Yeah.
you know, early 2000,
Kunut Funk.
you know, oh man, like, you know, early 2000
Chernai.
was the rise of like Filipino like
yeah.
musicianship.
Elemental P.
You know about us.
Dude.
Yeah, Kai,
with me.
Oh, yeah, Kai
One
also.
Voice, Interlude.
Yeah.
Interlude.
And so we started
Jocelyn
hosting.
Enriquez.
We started hosting in stores for those
Jocelyn
artists.
Enriquez.
Yeah, we started hosting in stores. Like I wanted to push for more in stores for these indie artists because like no one else was really doing it. Maybe like Sam Goody, you know, like you
Yeah.
know that was in the mall.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's
sound
a
goody.
hard maybe, dog.
But because Tower was such a big chain, and I figured, you know, at least, you know, because I had some type of leverage to
Yeah.
host these things. And luckily I had great managers to work with that were very supportive because it was all about bringing people in.
Yeah.
And
Foot
so
traffic.
so I would start hosting a lot of Asian American artists, and you know, from One Voice, I did like 3 One Voice in stores, and they were all
amazing.
successful. Kai, Interlude, Jocelyn Enriquez. I mean, you know, and plus, you know, we had I worked with some amazing people at Tower Records that were just as supportive, and you know, and it was so awesome to see that kind of turnout when, like, you know, hundreds of people would show up for Kai.
Waiting down the escalator.
Right, waiting down that escalator.
And it doesn't matter
around the block.
It doesn't matter if they were their relatives. They were still waiting.
Yeah,
Dude, and then we talked about it upstairs. It was like the kamikaze classified era of like,
yeah, absolutely.
when they were pushing a lot of Asian American artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, that's something that resonates with you like all the way.
Yes.
Like to now. That's something
Yeah.
that resonates with you. One of your not to get off Tower, but one of my favorite things that you would do would be Inktober. So you would do
Oh,
do
okay.
Inktober, right? And then he would do a different drawing each day in October. And then he would also, I think back in 2019, maybe 2018, he started collaborating with Filipino American History Month. So then you would draw different Filipino Americans.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because around that time I was starting to get a little more comfortable like with posting artwork on social media. And so I saw that one trend was called Inktober, where you draw something each day of the month of October. And then, you know, I saw that there were themes for Inktober, right?
Yeah.
I decided to flip it and literally flip it, right? So,
Do rap. Oh, shit, sorry, guys.
and so I wanted to make mine Filipino American themed because October is also Filipino American History Month.
History Month.
Yo, that's a little 1-2 hit 'em up.
Yeah.
And you know, and so I wanted to, and I've always loved drawing people, man. And you know, whether it's by ink or digitally, like I wanted to like kind of honor some people. And you know, sure, you know, as an artist, like we do it for a little recognition, but you know, going back to what we talked about earlier, fan art.
Yeah.
I've always
Been a fan.
been a fan. And going back to when I was a kid, if there was something I like, and you know, I draw you, or like the people I didn't like, I would draw you.
In an unsavory position. You know what we're talking about, Miss Thompson?
Let me
You
get
was
that
that-
yearbook real quick.
I do want to ask you. Okay, so
Okay.
at an early age, you did realize that art had an impact on people, right?
Absolutely, it
Like
was
you even said it yourself. In
elementary school.
Yeah, you said it yourself in an interview that people would dig up old pictures that you would have drawn.
Yeah.
and they still reach out to you.
Yeah, and they'll send me a photo, like, oh, here's my yearbook, or something going as far back as elementary school.
Like there's that. So that I want to ask you.
Okay, that's great.
That's a feeling that you can't like emulate, that's a feeling of fulfillment, kind of like a
Fan of the fan art.
like just kind of like the fact that you know that you've reached out to this one person, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter in what capacity, but the fact that you know that it's affected people or that person so much.
Yes, in a positive way, of course. And
Except from you, Miss Thompson. Sorry, good.
I did not go to school with any Miss Thompson. I swear. Shout out to Miss Thompson.
There's a Miss Thompson out there, like, there's a Miss Thompson out there listening, like, you know what really grinds my gears? Fuck you, Miss Thompson.
but in elementary school, I drew a lot, and of course, you kind of become that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That knows like, oh, that kid draws, and so
We're doing a presentation. He's doing the storyboard.
yeah, right, it was. So in elementary school, especially when, growing up in San Francisco, I mean, a lot of kids played sports. I didn't play shit, man. I tried to, but again, I was the last kid that would get picked,
Right.
and so, but you know what? I'd be the first kid to ask, to draw something,
Yeah.
and I kind of like that because it won, I was bullied around.
But it also kind of fed your ego in that sense.
It did.
Which I want to say is not a bad thing.
No.
Because being kind of like left out of...
But being accepted?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Being left out of a lot of like normal things to be fed to your ego at that young age feels like acceptance.
It was like a defense mechanism, like to draw something. And again, I
Do you see that artist right there pick up that mic?
I was bullied a lot, man. Like from elementary all the way through high school,
fucking sucks.
But thankfully,
Fuck you, bullies.
But thankfully, I have my artwork to fall back on. It kept me occupied. It helped me make friends, of course.
Yeah. And that picture of that bully with the dick in his mouth. Sorry, real quick. Jan, go ahead. You got a question.
Go ahead.
Did it ever get you out of trouble? Like, say, like you made friends with a gangster and you drew their on their book or something. And
Man, not like a gangster, but
I want to say real quick, with a gangster, that feels very personal to you.
Very specific, Jan.
Jan, just the fact that with the whole one.
how much do you owe?
Exactly. Just being the belle of the ball between two different gangsters.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very personal to you. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, LeRoid.
But yes, there were kids that did pick on me, going back to elementary, and a couple of them would I would just kind of draw them something cool just to get them off my back. Like, oh, here's a Superman, and or here's a Transformer, but that was temporary.
Yeah. But it goes to show you, man. And I think the thing that sucks about it nowadays is that I feel like bullying is less so of the whole nerd versus athlete type thing.
I feel like it's probably these days because of the social media. I think it's more psychological now.
It's almost even worse, right? Because it's almost like classism, which sucks.
Right.
Yeah. So straight up, bullies, just like his art, you can eat a dick. For sure.
Or
yeah.
if you like that stuff, do
Yeah,
what
if
you like.
that. Or if you do like that stuff, then
It's all good.
Eat those dicks and
enjoy yourself.
enjoy it. Yeah,
You know?
and then just know
And
that
enjoy.
and just know that like the Simpsons, we predicted the future.
My kids are gonna watch this and gonna be like,
What?
Yeah.
dicks?
What are we doing?
At least I didn't say a bag of dick. Oh, sorry, good.
Your medium has crossed over comic books, like this NBC, and then you work closely with Claim State.
Yeah, so a lot of the artwork that we have on display up front here are recent years, and I got into the digital medium. Shout out to San Francisco State University.
Gators.
SFSU.
Yeah, SFSU. Yeah. Go Gators. So State. I also went to City College for a bit too, but
CCSF.
Go Rams.
dude, for real. But getting into digital art helped me elevate. From just drawing pen and ink to now I can do this on Adobe Illustrator, and I still do a lot of things traditionally. So the artwork that you see on the cheer cards or maybe on labels and whatnot. I still sketch it out, man. I still sketch it out, and sometimes I scan it and I use it as a reference, and and depending on my timeline, I'll use photo references, and but I have different methods to my madness, but I will always go back to pen and ink or just drawing pencil. Yeah, absolutely, man, and it's because it keeps me genuine, or authentic, right? Like this is, like when I draw things digitally, I always imagine, what if I did this in pen? Like, how would this look? Because with digital medium, you could create so many effects. You could create, so much depth to it.
It's almost cheating.
But even, I mean, there's a lot of add-ons you could do to it. But if I'm drawing a person, I'm still going to draw it the same way I would almost do it if I did it in pen and ink,
Nice.
And so, a lot of stuff I got into besides sports card illustration, and then with the Lumpia movie, I've always been a huge fan of product design, and I studied a little bit of that at SF State. I love labels, bro. Like going back to
You said a little bit of it?
Product design.
Because it seems like a lot of a bit.
Oh man,
with all of these labels on the file.
Bro, I've always been a fan of packaging design.
Yeah.
So as a toy collector, or when you buy packs of sports cards, the first thing, you don't look at the toy really, man. You look at the packaging because you recognize
the back. You look at the back.
That illustration, like buying like the old Transformer toys, and you see that illustration of
the color,
Transformer, the color.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And then the artwork of like the cartoons. I've always wanted to design labels, and Claim Steak Brewing. Shout out to Claim Steak Brewing.
Shout out to Claim Steak.
Rancho Cordova, family-owned brewery.
I fucks with Rancho.
Cordova?
I used to work out there. Yeah. For Sutter. Yeah.
Oh, no way, man. Yeah, it's awesome little town. You got a lot of breweries there, but Claim Steak Brewing is family owned. When I first moved to Sacramento about 5 years ago, I needed, at the time I was working in the hospitality industry, so I needed just kind of something part-time, and I knew a little bit about beer. I was beer tending, and so I heard about Claim Steak because they were making really great beer, and I was trying their beers out here in the Bay Area. So I figured moving to Sac, I'd give them a shot, and
so you hollered at them.
Yeah, I did. I hollered at them.
You shot your shot.
I told them, I go, hey, I'm new, but I love your beers. I'm looking for something part-time while I find like a full-time job. But I also do graphic design if you guys need anything. And then fast forward, pandemic, 2020.
Everyone's drinking beer at that time.
Because all the breweries and tap rooms had to close to the public. So what do you do with all that beer? You got to can it, right? Mm-hmm. But by canning it, it allowed people to come in and pick up safely, right?
Yeah.
And then at that before I came on board, Claimsake already had a graphic design artist, and so on this label, I'm gonna show the logo right here. This was done by another artist, and whose name I can't recall, but
this one right here, right?
Yeah, but shout out to you though.
But shout out to the original Claimsake artist. So basically, when Claimsake gave me the opportunity to help design the label, I told him, I'll do this at a discount. Hey, throw him some beer. As long as I'm with Claimsake, I got beer for life. And so, which is cool. So, and they, in a good pay, and I'll design some labels for you. And then from 2020 on, I've done I don't know, like 50 labels or something like that. I've done a crazy amount of labels, but
the crazy thing is I don't even drink beer, but I want to drink this beer.
You want to collect the
I
cans?
want to drink this beer. I'm like, you know what? This looks welcoming.
Well, if you're not a beer drinker, you always want to start light. So always look at the ABV. Look at the alcohol percentage.
Antonio Brown all day. I got you,
man. But basically, I maintained some of the old look of like the previous label designs, and I also took the logo that was previously made, and I just incorporated with some of my illustration style. Like say for example, like well this is the original head logo for claim's sake, but I'm gonna illustrate like this body to go along with it.
Body, yada, yada, yeah.
So
are these the owners right here on this one?
No,
the unholy trinity.
Yeah. So what the beauty of this brewery is that they dedicate their brews after friends and family.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that's like what you represent.
Yo, for real. And it's so awesome for one of their regulars to be drawn on a label, and I love seeing that excitement. So for example, this label Unholy Trinity, we featured 3 people. These three people happen to be like day ones for claim's sake, and so I added them on a label, which is to them it's like the dopest thing. And then, but besides beer, besides claim's sake, I did a few labels for other breweries as well around the Sacramento area, Central Valley. And then I was honored to I was honored to be part of a wine label with Purity Wines. Shout out to Purity Wines out of Richmond.
Hey.
They are a family-owned natural winery. Their wine room. They have some amazing natural wines, but they did kind of like a call for artists.
I'm gonna get that bottle.
They did a call for artists
right here on this side of the table.
All right, I'll take these 3 beers.
So Purity Wine, they actually did a collab with Larry June.
Oh, shout out to Larry June.
So honestly, like a while back, Larry was promoting this, like, his thing is orange, right? And
oh, that's right. Yeah,
he was promoting like this natural wine, and it was made by Purity. And so they did a call for artists, and they chose my art to be part of this white wine label right here.
And the R is capital.
The R is capital, man. For real.
So you're okay. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. So you're doing this Lupia with a Vengeance. You're doing these cheer cards with Sacramento, which is not part of the Bay, and then also like the Giants, Niners, all of that stuff. But this isn't your regular gig.
Absolutely not.
This is just your passion. This is your love.
I work a regular 9 to 5, and art has always been my passion. Like at one point around college, I was asking myself, like, is this something art is something I want to do full time? And I tested myself, a couple of times. Like I would do internships, and just to kind of feel that lifestyle of being in let's say at a design agency or at an animation company, like to be there on a daily and to just draw or create. I wanted to get that feel, and I don't know. It wasn't sticking to me well. Like I love.
It didn't resonate.
It did not resonate. Like I love doing art, like because this is something exciting to do. Mm-hmm. Like you propose something to me, that sounds exciting. I want to do that, as opposed to, we got this one client coming up. They're, they, need a logo and we need these drafts.
You have to you have to be able to differentiate.
Yeah,
art and work.
I like that.
Yeah, and because of the fact that I worked multiple jobs growing up, and especially once I started having kids.
Shout out to kids.
Man.
You ruin dreams, but you also make dreams.
No, man.
No, I said make dreams. I didn't say make dreams. I said make dreams. Shout out to you.
It's a balance.
Yeah, shout out to Caitlin, Carter, and Ramsey.
It's a balance. I love you, Mikey. It's a balance.
Yeah. My kids don't listen to my shit anyways. It's all good.
Yeah, shout out to my kids, Yasmin, D-Rel, Eli, Koa.
Grat. And Ian, right? Is there an Ian?
What was that?
Is there an Ian?
No, there's no
Eli.
Eli. Fuck, Eli. Yo, my bad, Eli. Yo, this whiskey's pretty good.
Yo, but my kids are my drive, man. But when I had D-Rel and Yasmin, my 2 oldest, I was still living here in San Francisco, and at the time this was my 2 oldest kids are from my previous marriage, but I was working multiple jobs, and I didn't really have time to do art, but I was doing little things here and there, but it wasn't consistent. It was like oh, okay, maybe I could squeeze in this project here, and there,
Right.
like a little like logo thing, or but nothing of this like nature, like sports cards.
This
I
is
mean,
kind of
I
become
didn't
its own.
have I didn't have those opportunities. Back
This has
then.
become its own beast, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All this was all in recent years, and so raising my two older ones, I was just busy working, man. And then fast forward, their mother and I didn't work out, and when we were going through the split, it was I will admit I was going through a really dark time, and so it was a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
But
Like the fucking phoenix, you rose from the ashes. That's the truth.
So,
That's the
yeah,
truth.
it was
That's
just-
the truth.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't just like
No, it was like
a
a,
huge rise, but it was
It was like a-
gradual,
Yeah.
I had to figure out what I wanted to be in life, not just a father, but what the hell is my legacy?
I heard once on a podcast, and it was said by Mos Def, is that conflict, right? Conflict is only good when it follows resolution, right? Conflict followed by more conflict is just that's a bad state. But once you deal with that conflict and you find that resolution, that kind of like glimmer of hope, that silver lining, that light at the end of the tunnel, that's the beauty of it, right? That's the true purpose of conflict.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and it's not that like I encourage everyone to have conflict in order to find.
We don't encourage that shit.
Yeah, in order to find this great resolution, but I was going through some really difficult times, and having to like move out and not be with my older kids, and I needed something to kind of bring me back to the light. And what I haven't been doing was drawing. And this was about, the split took place like a little over 10 years ago. And so I just started drawing again. And I just started drawing feverishly because, I was going through so many emotions and stuff. And of course, around that time, this is when Instagram was coming up, and people started posting stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna start posting art, and then prior to that, no one hasn't really seen me draw stuff in a while. Not since the first Olympia movie or the Chewy Gomez logo, which was the first Olympia movie was like 2000.
Yeah,
and I was doing some other projects with like Patricio Janelsa, and that was like that early 2000, but we're talking about like 2015-ish, I think. And then, I was trying to get my feet back, trying to make, spend time with my kids. But then I felt like this drive, like, I need to get back into drawing. So I just started posting more and more and more. And then people, your friends started taking notes like, oh, that's dope. Like, oh, hey, LeRoid drawing, whatever.
like on the fucking playground. Hey, yo, LeRoid's drawing again. And it was like, hey,
and I got into the hospitality industry. And at one point, Gus, we talked about this earlier, that I did work at Facebook, and I got let go, which was very heartbreaking. But while I was unemployed, I got back into drawing again. And then around that time, this was like, I don't know, 2017-ish, like I was with my wife now.
shout out to Steph.
Shout out to Stephanie. And then I was, unemployed, but I was watching Eli and, still dealing, with, divorce and, custody battle or visitation. And then I just got back into drawing, just like, okay, while I'm unemployed, looking for a job, just started drawing again, posting again. And then a friend of mine and my cousin introduced me to this art contest that NBC Sports Bay Area was hosting, and this was about 2017, 2018.
And you killed it,
dude. They did a call for artists, and basically they were looking for it was to celebrate Battle of the Bay, A's versus Giants. We're looking for artists to like create some cool stuff, represent your own, and if selected, you're going to be part of this gallery, this art show that we're going to feature at the Giants game and A's game. And I'm like, okay, cool. Why not? So
It's all you, baseball and art.
dude,
It's all you.
So my first entry, I did this like pen and ink piece. It was like a comic book related piece, and then that went really well. And then fast forward to the year after, they held another contest, but this time I decided to draw things digitally. So I did a couple of portrait pieces, and one it was like one vintage like Giants player, one vintage like A's player, and I can't remember off the top of my head because
That's okay.
of this.
Shout out to you though.
Shout
You know
out
who
to
you
the-
are.
Yeah, shout out to the whiskey too.
That's pretty good, dude.
But then NBC started to take note.
Yeah.
They were like, oh hey, like you draw pretty cool. Would you be interested in doing sports cards? Dude, I have known about these cheer cards, they call them, as giveaways. I've known them for a little bit because artists like Jesse Hernandez.
Hey, shout out to
Urban
Urban
Aztec.
Aztec. Hey,
That's my dude.
Urban Aztec. I don't know. I said it like a Russian. Sorry.
Man, dude, he was doing those cards, and the first cheer card I did was of Bruce Bochy. It was for his final year with the Giants.
Fun fact: he also wears a size 8 hat, or
Yo,
8
Joe.
and a half,
8.5.
because we're a bunch of thinkers.
Biocho was Bruce Bochy, huh?
And then the rest was history, man, because I got to, from there, I did a couple Warriors pieces.
I want to say it's not the rest is history; it's the rest is history in the making.
The rest is history in the making. I love that, man.
You're making the history.
But NBC they've stopped doing the cheer cards because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when COVID hit, that all stopped. But I'll tell you this, man, I had a pretty good run, man, and I worked alongside some other amazing artists out there. And you know who you are if you're watching this.
You know who you
If
are.
you were part of this whole cheer card crew, you know who you are. And thank you for your inspiration. But I had this really good run, man. And I told my wife, I go, this ain't gonna be forever. So
Yep.
we're gonna make the most of it. And along with getting paid, the perks, going to a game.
Sure.
I didn't get to like meet any players up front and stuff, but
No, you don't. You mean they don't? They didn't get to meet you.
oh man, for real. But one of the biggest cheer card projects I did was for the Niners up front right here. So I did. So this was 2019.
That one and this one?
Dude, yeah. So the Super Bowl year against the Kansas City Chiefs. So you see right here, we got the offense and defense.
Is that Staley?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Garoppolo that dated that porn star.
Yeah.
Guapolo. Hey, but you still got what's his name? Kyle. Yeah. Jan. In closing, and it sucks that we have to do this. We got to have you back because there's so much goddamn information. In closing, do you have anything? Any last words?
Yeah, we're closing.
I know. I'm
Wow.
sorry. It's like the club where they turn on the lights and then you
But
realize.
y'all still look good.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, go ahead.
Goggles.
Yeah, go ahead and bookmark that though.
I don't think you have to worry about me taking any of your sports or beer jobs because I don't drink or do sports. So I'll be on the other projects.
Jan, I'm gonna learn about you after this.
Yeah, maybe you should come up with a soy milk carton.
Yeah.
A lactate box. Lactate
Or maybe you want to design a porn cover.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you what your maybe like top 2 favorite logos. It could be like any shoes, sports teams, or like
that exists.
yeah.
Ooh.
Local, anything local.
Any logo,
just
any
like
logo,
any logo that kind of like
That's a good fucking
like
question.
that he created or in general?
That's a goddamn artist.
logo.
just
Yeah,
just
logo.
in general.
Just in general.
Oh God, top logos, man. I
Maybe
mean,
E-Spirit.
oh, that's really tough, man. Like
Oshkosh
favorite logos.
Bulldog.
I mean, I'll tell you this: like logo artists. So I've always been a fan of like sports logos, like like the FREE99. Like it's based off like the Super Bowl logo. So all those logos that you see for the
You did make that logo.
oh man, but the. But mascots, God, I've always been a fan of those logos, but there's this one, I can't name those two, but I will name a couple artists. So Todd Radom is a sports logo artist, man. Radom. If you look him up, man, he's done some amazing sports logos, like stuff that you look at and you go, that one guy did all those, like all those major events, sporting events. He did those logos. I love his style. And then another guy, Benny Gold.
We just talking about BG.
Man,
we just talking about BG.
I got a lot of artists in my head, but coming from
Yeah, it's Todd Radom. I'm sorry, I just googled him right now.
Oh yeah,
that motherfucker's classic.
But yeah, classic, dude. But coming from SF, Benny Gold, man, Benny Gold. I don't try to like emulate like his style or anything, but I just love looking at his work, man. Like there's not that many people whose art that I can look at and be like, man, I could look at this all day. But Benny Gold, man, I mean, he is a San Francisco legend, going back to Huff, and
Paper Planes.
Man, yeah, so favorite logos, I can't really say, man, but logo artists, yeah, I could come up with a few. Because honestly, like my favorite logos are the ones I did.
Like the new era hat he's wearing.
Oh yeah, like
shout out to the Clink Room.
Shout out to the Clink Room. They gave me an opportunity to design a couple new era hats based on like my own artwork. So
Look at that, like just he's so humbled. A couple new hair hats.
Just
I don't know.
I try to get back into doing a couple of hat designs, but I don't know, man. I'm out of ideas at the moment. So.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me, dog. I have to say, the why, right? The why has been very. It's been very obvious, to your children. It's funny that like you say that like for them to have somebody to look up with the Filipino culture and how hard you rep that, but then also if you realize everything that you had said, it's them who actually pushed you back into the artist who you are. It's important, and I don't think I've told Gus or Jan this, but I think for us as artists too, right?
As fathers
and
artists, the reason why we do this, right, is to kind of put that digital footprint there. As kids, they may not ever see us to who we are as individuals. They'll see us as authoritative figures, the guy who told us to go to the room, who they were grounded, but they'll never know who we're about. What you've done is you've created a plethora of art to see who you were about, what you represented, right? They can always go back and look and see exactly who their father was.
I hope so. Because,
I know so.
Because growing up, I didn't know a lot about being Filipino. I had to dig in deep, like a little later. Because,
during college, right?
Yeah, well, grew up a single mom. And, we spoke English. The only Filipino, what I knew was Filipino was like food and like the language, but I never learned the language. And then, of course, given my having two first names, I mean, LeRoid David.
That is two first names. I just
like I said, I got bullied a lot. So in school, like no one believed I was Filipino.
Yeah.
And because I looked more Chinese than anything. And sure, I mean, shout out to like the bloodline and stuff like that. So
right. The Davids, I know a couple
the
Davids.
bloodline.
But the fact of the matter is that you have set precedent, right? You do this while also having a family, right?
I want to, like I said, growing up, I didn't know what Filipino was, and it wasn't until later years. But I'll tell you this: growing up with my mom, you hear the stories, the hearsay they pass down, and then I think about like my life now. And having two older kids and then two young ones. But then because of this digital age, like, what is the story we're going to leave behind? There's always the stories you could pass down like, oh, I remember your dad did this. But no, I would love for them to look back at this podcast.
Yeah.
And be like, yo, my dad did what? My dad said what?
My kids would be like, yo, my dad said he wanted to wrestle with Okada.
Yeah.
And I regret that.
And I bumped into him in the elevator, by the way, going back to that story.
Why are you trying to make me jealous, though? Why are you trying to make me jealous?
He smelled really good. He was tall, handsome. But anyhow, like, but yo, like, what we're doing here, Rommel, Gus, Jan, JD, who's not here, Like we are the new storytellers, man. You know, and because now this is going to be forever, which I really hope. I mean,
Fortunately, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
My kids are gonna be like, "What's wrong with my dad's nose?" I'll be like, "None of your fucking business." Good,
My dad said dicks. He said dicks.
but not bag of dicks. Go ahead, Gus. What's your last words?
We took a photo together in front of Papalote when it was Adobo Hobo and Papalote Seasick Burrito collab.
Damn.
You and your now wife were in line for that, right?
I'm trying to remember. Yes.
It's okay if it's incriminating. We'll take it out. But
And then no, and then
Yeah.
I remember that, and I remember you said, "Hey, what's up? I like what y'all doing." And you always, you were always,
eating.
You were always at the forefront of pushing, like Filipino culture, like normalizing. As far as like you were, like not even pushing it, you were a part of it because you were there. You were there. You've always you've always tried to like make your presence known. You always try to represent, support, whatever that may be. And then I've always been a fan of the art that you created even before I knew it was you. And when I found out it was you, and then we were able to connect through social media, and then the projects that we were able to cook up, I'm very fortunate to have worked with you because like you are a master at your craft.
Man.
And the fact that you don't like it's hard because I know like in art there's a vast separation of what you're doing creatively and then what you're doing financially in art, right? And it's very gray. You're one of the few that's able to like to walk that line, and I'm just
it's not easy.
Nah, it's not. And then it's for seeing what you've done and what you continue to do and just watching the progress, and it's like it's never too late to get back on it, and it's so dope to me. And
know your worth.
Yeah, man, you had a resurgence.
A lot. Some people ask, like, how are you able to like do these things? Whether if it's a sports art, and even though that was like a good run, but you're doing beer labels and then Lumpia and all this stuff, and people ask me like, how did this come about? Like, I've been doing art right for a long time.
Yeah.
But having to work in those different industries, from retail to restaurants, and
Soft skills.
Oh, dude, and living in the Bay Area, I've always somehow maintained connection with those folks because in a lot of these pieces, there's a story behind it, and then going back to. You've seen my dude. People would tell me like, "Yo, like you did Chewy's artwork," and I'm like, "Man, like." That means you're OG. Like you go back to like late '90s, man. And then like with the Lumpia company now, Alex Rototo. I've known for
Shout out
years
to Alex. Shout out to E40.
because of the music industry.
Yeah.
But then we reconnected years later because he's seeing I'm doing something and he's doing something. And the whole Lumpia company art I started doing, that was a bit of a fan art also. And then coincidentally, I hosted a E40 in-store hella years back in 06, and so it's almost that full circle moment. Yeah,
That was
crazy.
That was hyphy.
Man,
06
that
was like right when hyphy was about to pop.
real, man. Tower Records Emeryville, that's where we hosted. That was like I think the very last in-store we hosted.
Yeah, right next to the Burger King.
For real.
Yeah.
So LeRoid, in closing, do you have how can people take a look at this art? Where can they see you?
Oh, hold on. I'm just.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thankful.
Sorry.
Man,
I'm
for
thankful
real, man.
because, as I was sharing with these guys, as I was sharing with you, like this one was very important. Not only did you help, like with the resurgence of our logo, but then
Blew my mind.
with everything that you've done and create, like continuously do. He gave Mikey, because Mikey likes to watch me and Michelle draw stuff that he wants to draw. He drew Mikey. Wow. And it's upstairs.
It's upstairs, yeah.
It's upstairs.
Wow. Fuck.
And I'm just so thankful for your time and energy because you came a long way to be with us.
Did
I was looking. This was on my calendar. I was looking for
this is a fucking? I have to say, this is a fucking way to close out the year.
And just to end it, any words, anything you want to share with our listeners, with your fans, with our fans,
future fans.
So you can find my artwork on social media. So on Instagram is at LeRoid.David. So at LEROID
Say it right.
DAVID. And that's where I post most of my work. Sorry, I don't have a website, but it's easier for me to post on Instagram, and it shows up on Facebook. So that's where you can find my stuff. I got a handful of projects that I'm working on as we speak, besides the regular stuff like the beer labels and with Lumpia Company, which I'm still doing stuff for. The sports art, the cheer cards was a good run. I'm hoping one day the teams or NBC will bring me back for something. But for those that follow me on Instagram, I usually put like these regular hashtags, hashtag make the most, hashtag make it count.
Make it count.
Make the most, make it count. They were influenced by some friends of mine, which I have to. That's another story. But when I was going through my separation and I was kind of going through like my dark times, I always put my kids first, and I had to remind myself every single day is a gift. Every single day is a new opportunity.
Yes.
And so you got to make the most of it. You got to make it count because, not to sound morbid, it's just you never know when
mortality is real. No, mortality is real.
And I've lost a lot of good ones, especially recently. But make the most, make it count. For the artists that are up and coming. Continue to make connections. Making connections and building bridges. You just never know. Like I'm 46, dude. Like doing this still.
You don't look a day over 38.
Man,
Doug.
I love what I do. Like working 9 to 5, but doing art on the side. And shout out to the full-time artists. Mm-hmm. Man,
shout out to you, Jan.
Creators.
But
creator, dog.
But stay. You can stay in your own lane as an artist in terms of like the styles that you're putting out and whatnot. But man, bridge out, man, connect, because I'm telling you, all these people that I've met over the years. Everyone from Chuy Gomez all the way till now have all been a part of this artwork that you see till this day.
It's crazy. I want to really quick. I didn't even tell Gus about this, but I do want to do a quick review of our toy drive. We had we participated in the toy drive, mm-hmm. and we were able to raise over what we were looking for. And mm-hmm. Gus, thank you. Played a big part on that in terms of talking about the kids in the future. Mm-hmm. We were able to do that. Yeah. Thank you, Gus.
Yeah. And shout out to Miguel.
Shout out to Miguel.
What a lot of people know.
Motherfucker.
A lot of people know I did a couple things with El Pastor.
Hey, did you try that? You drew that fucking pepper, did you?
No. Shout out to that artist, but
he's in New York. He's in LA, I think.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to you, but then he does good stuff too.
Yeah. So if you go out to whenever Miguel bottles his like horchata, mm-hmm. I helped out with that label, man. So
yeah, you fucking did.
But
yeah, you fucking did.
Just like I love labels, man. I love making labels.
You have a footprint in a lot of work that people would not connect, and it's like one of our biggest things here is to ensure that our people get those flowers, because it's just another thing you just do, right? You know what I mean? And it's a legacy that lives on, because you're so important to the fabric of like not even the art world, not even the music world, not even like being Filipino. It's just like
to the culture
at a whole. I appreciate you. And this episode 202.
Closing up the
podcast.
LeRoid, David, say it right or don't say it at all. Love.
Yo, thank you. Thank you. This is.
Did you really do the fucking